Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. Welcome to I'ma Let You Finish.
Is this our first show of 2021?
It is absolutely our first show of 2021.
Is this year over yet?
Yes. Right. That
You know, they promised us it would be better, and it seems like the last 2 weeks and change, not even 2 weeks and change, it seems like this has been going on forever, and we're 2 weeks in.
You know,
anyway,
all insurrections aside, you know, things like that and stuff, you know, who knows.
Okay, before we start, I'm Amy, he's Courtney, by the way. Before we start the serious stuff, I need to ask you a question, Courtney. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So last night, I finally watched the Knicks game because I heard the streets were saying they were actually better this year. Mm-hmm. Which isn't saying much.
They're trying to be. Well, they're trying to be. And
they're trying to be.
And last night they pulled it to within 5, which when they were down like a whole bunch of points.
No, they were at halftime. They were down.
But they should not have won that first matchup. They should have won that first matchup in Madison Square Garden. I'm like, you do not let the Nets come over here and beat you in the Garden.
Let me ask you my two questions. I have 2 questions and a comment. First off, did you know that R.J. Burnett is Steve Nash's godson?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. Yeah. And Steve Nash, not for nothing, has aged very well.
Yeah, he looks rich.
He does. He looks
he looks very well taken care of.
Yeah, he looks well-rested.
Well-rested, his haircut, he looks like shape.
His hair was nice,
His hair is always cut perfectly. He looks like I have a coin and I'm doing all right.
No, he looks nice. Okay, so here are my 2 questions. And I was, where is Walt Clyde Frazier?
Right.
Okay, is it because he's old and he doesn't want to be in the COVID zone?
Maybe.
Because I don't want to be, I need Walt Clyde. And number 2, what the fuck is on the Knicks home uniform? What is that? What? Courtney, I'm sitting there trying to, I shouldn't have to try to read a uniform.
It's so
What is that?
Wait, and you know what? You want to know what's really funny? I kept forgetting. At one point, I turned the game on and I was doing something. I came back in. I keep forgetting they had on that horrible uniform.
What is that?
And I came back in and I was rooting for the wrong team. I was like, "Go Knicks!" I was like, "Oh wait,
I
no, that's
know
because I forgot about that horrible black with the circle. And I think it says all the 5 boroughs or some shit.
What is
horrible.
it? I mean, I know like they're feeling all jealous because the Nets have that bullshit fake Basquiat, look at us, we're cool uniform. It's a fake Basquiat, by the way. It's not Basquiat. It's like, oh, look at us, we're down. What does the uniform say? That's all I want to know, and then we can move on.
I believe it says all of the 5 boroughs.
Jesus
That's what I think it says, yeah.
Too much. In a game where people are running back and forth, I don't want to read someone's chest.
No, they're horrible.
Horrible.
I'm going to tell you right now. It says, hold on, I'm pulling one.
I think you and I should start a petition to bring it back to the blue and orange.
Oh my God, no, it's even worse. It says, city never sleeps, New York Knicks. That's what it says.
Bite me. All right.
Well, we're already doomed. We'll see. I'm trying to have some hope. I need RJ to be a little more consistent. I need Toppin to get back in the game. But we're seeing some promise.
All right, but that uniform, I was like watching it, and like I said, I was like, I know there's no people there, and they have the fake crowd noise, whatever, that's fine. No Walt Clyde disturbed me, but that uniform.
Yeah, it could be that now that you said that, because there are reporters who are reporting and doing the games from home, watching it on feeds and stuff. And maybe because of his age, they're like, you shouldn't be
that uniform. There was no excuse for that uniform.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible.
Anyway, all right.
What have you?
It's good to know that the Knicks uniform is the biggest problem in our minds.
Have you heard about anything strange lately? Anything strange?
You know, I heard a rumor. I mean, it might be wrong because, you know, the media lies. I heard this rumor that Donald Trump was impeached, but I don't know if that's true or not. Is that true? Because I know that, the media is controlled by communists.
Hold on. Let
and
me
they
go
lie.
to Twitter. Let me check his Twitter and find out. Oh, it's not there. I can't.
Oh, wait.
I don't know what happened.
Check his Instagram account. See if it's
wait,
there.
Wait, no. Hold on. Let me go to Facebook. I'm going to go to his Facebook and see. He's not there. What happened?
Check Parler. I hear all the kids are on Parler now. Check Parler.
I can't find it. It doesn't seem to be in my app store. I don't know what happened.
Weird.
Could it be?
Then it must have not happened. It's social media. It must have not happened.
This is all I want to say about the disgusting display of choosing whiteness over democracy that we saw last week. I would like to tell people to stop thinking that you can say the First Amendment and it applies to fucking everything. It does not apply to everything the same way. You cannot yell at a company, a private company, especially the Republicans, who are all about capitalism. Their whole thing is capitalism. So that means a company can do exactly what they want. If I have a platform and I am saying after a certain amount of time, I do not like the way you're using my platform, I have every right to say, you're not allowed on my platform. It is not infringing on your First Amendment rights. And if your First Amendment rights are inciting insurrections against the United States, you forfeited some of those rights. So stop saying the First Amendment for everything. Everything. Like, did you see when New York City is terminating 45 contracts, his organization's contracts with the city, the son that's not the one named after him, it's like, this is about our First Amendment rights, and we are suing. It's like the First Amendment you guys.
The First Amendment has nothing to do with women's voting rights.
You know what? It's like they throw that shit around for everything. It's like it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with that. First
Amendment.
Amendment.
It has to do with inciting a riot.
No. The First Amendment.
5 people are dead. It's like, how about that?
No, but the First Amendment is the government should not restrict, not private corporations. It's the government. The government has not restricted them. Clearly, it's so the government can't tell you what to say. And clearly, we let every fucking inbred motherfucker in the world say whatever they want to say. Anyway, I didn't even know we still had contracts with the Trump organization. That was like the biggest
they've been running the rink and the concessions for a gazillion years. Yeah.
I still didn't know. I remember when he built that thing, and they had some bogus golf club in the Bronx, right?
Yeah, that's still there.
No, I know. I just didn't realize. I mean, it's kind of amazing that little Mr. Progressive Politics took this long to cancel the contracts. I mean,
well, no, they're all doing it. They're all wimps. Everybody's doing it because he didn't get reelected. So it's easy. Yeah. It's really easy to say, now we can throw him off. Now we can do these things. If he had been reelected, none of this would be happening.
Yeah.
None of it.
Well,
so it's like,
not.
Is it brave
Wait a minute,
to do
Courtney,
it? Is it brave to do it when it's easy to do it? I mean,
Courtney, he was elected. What are you talking about?
In a landslide.
Courtney, I can't believe you're
and I love that, like,
that.
74 million Americans voted. It's like, so what about the 80 million
Courtney,
that voted?
I don't know if I can do this show with you anymore. If you are just so blind to the truth.
I know.
He won that election. It was rigged. They rigged the top half of the election, but all the Republicans won the bottom half. Oh my God.
I'm just gonna clap for all of this white on white crime, and I'm just gonna sit back with my popcorn unbuttered and a nice glass of water and watch you guys just in Washington and all over the place rip each other apart. When I heard that white girl talking about it's a revolution, I'm like, from what? What white lady do you need a revolution from in America? What are people taking from you? No one's taking anything from you. If you failed at something in your life and you feel like you need to follow someone because you didn't make it because you might be, I don't know, a failure at life, don't try to blame somebody else who lives thousands of miles away from you for taking something from you. Nobody wants shit from you. Everybody in this country, we all want the same shit. We want to raise our families, have a home, eat good, occasionally have some great sex, fucking live our lives, have some money in the bank, and go on a vacation. Nobody's trying to take shit from anybody. And if you're white and you need a revolution, you're on drugs. Sorry, because that's nuts. That's just, like, that's why, as black people, we're all sitting back just watching all of this like, And when we see the occasional lost black person in that crowd, we're just like, so now y'all just going to fight each other for a revolution? Okay, we'll just watch y'all over here and be like, all right.
Well, for what
let us know when you're done.
For what it's worth, the sort of whites in that thing would have no problem beating the shit out of the sort of whites you and I know too.
Right.
There are white people, and then there are white people. And I am a white person, but trust me, if I were to walk in that crowd, nah, not so much. Not so much.
First of all, they'd already hate you because as soon as you open your mouth, you'd be letting people have it just with the words, and they'd be like, I don't even know what that bitch said. Get her.
Get her. What? You're not married to your son? Kill him. What? You read a book and it wasn't Mein Kampf? Kill her.
It's like, I mean, you know who's my favorite? There's a couple of people who are my favorites because the lunacy is crazy. The Olympic gold medalist who's like 6'6" and decided to, I don't know, wear his Team Olympic jacket. That was subtle.
Really subtle. I mean, Courtney, I'm not defending him, but this is what we're talking about, all joking aside, of the arrogance of it. He just assumed that he would not be punished. If you don't think you're going to be punished, then why would you act guilty? If you don't think you're guilty, then you don't act like somebody you don't cover your face. I mean, you don't do anything. These guys were given literally, it's going to turn out, a hall pass to go in. When you have people in Congress who think it's an infringement on their right to go through a metal detector, hello, how did you fly to your job? You went through a metal detector. We go through
talk to high school students in New York who that's been their reality for years and years
I'm just saying,
and years and
when
years
you go to
years.
a concert, you go through a metal detector.
Sure do.
Yeah, so I mean, so when you don't think you're going to get caught, it's like someone who is brazenly cheating on you. If they don't think they're going to get caught, why would they bother to cover it up? So of course he's going to wear his jacket. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't think he's going to lose his job.
You're talking to a man of color. Like this is everything that we've been saying for years was on display. I mean, to watch the scenes of. And, this isn't to disparage all the police, because you saw some Capitol Police in there fighting for their lives and really fighting. And then when you saw other people not even seemingly taking selfies and it's like nod, nod, wink, wink, or opening up the gates and ushering people. It's just because white people, they don't fear the police because they're like, well, why would we? Their reality of dealing with the police is different. It's like, why would we be afraid of the police? It's the police. They're us.
I used to be afraid of the police. But I was doing things that were...
Well,
I mean...
That's for another show. Right, you're like, I used to be afraid for the police, but I might have been doing some illegal things.
I might have been doing something illegal. Not too illegal, though. Just illegal-ish.
Yeah.
Illegal-ish.
Yeah. So,
anyway.
It's pretty disgusting. But you know what? This is America, and now the whole world is seeing. And now when we try to go to these other countries and point to them and try to tell them how they should be running their government, now they can point the finger back at us and say, look at what you have. And Republicans knew endorsing Trump, he would really rip them to shreds. And now it's like, this is your mess, fix it. But he needs to be prosecuted. Like, you can't do this. And when I look at the Republicans, I'm like, so if you're okay with this, when will you? What would it take for you not to be okay? Because I mean,
nothing.
Does it get much worse than this?
No. I mean, you're You're looking for moral clarity. I read this great thing today, and they were talking about, and I don't want to get like too deep in the weeds about it, but they were talking about this the new QAnon-ish people who have been elected, and what they said was, you know, this being in Congress is not public service for them; it's performance art.
Right.
And that's what this is. These are people who are there. They're doing it for the gram.
Right.
They're politicians for the gram. So they don't care about policy. They don't care about really, you know, they're there to flex and to get media deals. And in 2 years, because you vote for Congress every 2 years, which is why Congress has always been a lot dumber, the people in Congress, and a lot more loose cannons in the Senate. Because whatever you want to say about senators, they do have to stick around every 6 years. You can't be a complete lunatic as a senator. I mean, you can be, but they're more the grown-ups in the room. But yeah, we have a generation of people who just feel like, whatever. It just makes me so infuriated, and I'm trying not to get infuriated because I have to. There's so many problems facing this country right now, but it's just insane that we are facing a level of terrorism, and they've always said we should be more afraid of ourselves. And
absolutely,
you know, I am afraid of the them. We are them. You know. Anyway, I wanted to bring something up, and I don't want you to get too upset about it. And Lady Gaga and Jennifer Lopez are singing at the inauguration. Let it be Jennifer Lopez, please. Lady Gaga and I just wanted to mention that to you because wait,
Lady Gaga and Jennifer Lopez what?
Are singing at the inauguration. Now,
what the fuck is Jennifer Lopez going to sing at the America? What, is she going to sing America the Beautiful? Like, what's going on?
I mean, why not? I mean,
because she can't sing.
That's never stopped anybody before, Courtney.
Well, usually at the inaugurations and stuff like that, they have vocalists.
I don't know whether she's singing. She's performing. They didn't say she was singing. She's performing. But I will say that it's a bold move of Biden to actually have an artist in Gaga who has put out a record in the 21st century and whose fans are not married to their cousins. Shocking. And I will pay good money if she shows up in red, white, and blue lobster shoes. I would love to see that.
Gaga can sing, so I'm not mad at the Lady Gaga choice. Moving on.
You know what? We need. I just wanted to mention it because I know you have this pathological. There is some sort of the DMSR, whatever it's called, the DMS. I'm sure there is like a pathological, psychological disease called Lopezphobia, and I know that you have it. So, all right. Where do we want? Do we want to talk about Kamala, a good person, a good woman?
Sure, yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, so why don't you kick it off?
So,
the photo.
Kamala, who shouldn't already be on a Vogue cover because why are you on a Vogue cover already? But that's a whole nother conversation to have. Like, why are you already doing that? You're not in office yet. I know everybody thinks it's a momentous time, but I just think, can we get in there? The country's fucked up. There's a pandemic going on, so I don't understand why you're in Vogue already. Has a cover that's horrible. And that's pretty much how I feel about it. It's like, I'm glad you like Tyler, the young black photographer, which is great. But guess what? You also, I'm going to need it to be better, and that was terrible, and it needed to be better.
I think what Tyler Mitchell is the photographer who did it, and he's sort of like the guy right now. Everybody's using him, and he is talented. I think he's one of those. I'm not a huge fan of his work, but he is good. But he's sort of the guy right now. The problem, Robin Given, Givhan, not the actress. She's a Pulitzer Prize-winning writer for the Post, and she writes, Washington Post writes mainly about fashion and the intersection between culture and fashion and politics. And she basically said they were too casual with her. Like, this is not, she is, for whatever you think about her, the vice president of the United States. That's the picture maybe you include inside with her in the chucks on the background and looking.
Absolutely.
But you don't have to put her in couture, but she is, even though she comes off very kind of girlfriendy, if you're going to pay tribute to her and she is a historical figure, then treat her with a little more dignity on the cover. A little bit more. You can still have fun with somebody and be dignified. She should have gotten the Michelle Obama treatment in terms of wardrobe and styling and stuff like that.
That was a timing thing. I don't think she should even be on Vogue right now.
Why not? Why not?
Because, again, why are you already doing that kind of press? You're not in office yet. You're coming into office. Yes, it is momentous, but there's a lot of work to be done, and the Democrats won a really contentious election. Right now, you don't need to be on the cover of Vogue. I just don't think it's a smart move. To me, in my opinion, I'm telling you why not. I don't think before you're in office and before you've done one drop of work, you should already be on Vogue. And here it is. Now the story is you don't like the cover's shitty, and there's this whole thing, and it's dumb, and we shouldn't even be talking about that. I'm ready for you to get in there and do some work. I'm not ready for anybody to already be on magazine covers and doing press and interviews. Sorry, that's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like by this issue drops, she will be vice president. I mean, the issue is an issue.
To me, it's a timing thing. Why is it already happening? Like, you've not done anything yet. And I just think it was a dumb move.
I mean, she has done something. She's been elected.
I mean, you're missing my point. She's not on the cover because she was a senator. She's on the cover about being vice president, which I get. Maybe a year in, maybe 2 years in. But I just, to me, don't think the timing was good to do it anyway. That is my opinion. And look at it. And to me, it's shitty. We all look at it like she was told it was going to be the cover with the blue suit and the gold background, and Vogue switches it up, and they're trying to defend it, and it's dumb. And I feel like it's dumb because it shouldn't have happened. But
I disagree with that because I feel like it's like an actress who's got a movie coming out. You put them on the cover. I have no problem with her being on the cover. I have a problem with that they screwed it up. I'm just saying it's the equivalent. I mean,
To me, it's not the equivalent. I feel like it was. To me, I don't feel like she should have done that yet. And I don't think the first thing she should have been on should have been Vogue. That's just, my opinion on it. But, I feel like some people feel like me and others think it's great. And there's some people who like the cover. To me, I think it's disrespectful. And just because you hire a black photographer, it's like, step up. Step your game up. That was a horrible cover. And I'm looking at all of the people in that room and Anna Wintour, and I'm like, so you looked at that picture and you're like, this is the one? It's really disrespectful. It's really super disrespectful. She doesn't even look pretty in the picture. It's disrespectful.
Yeah, well, I thought the comment was very apropos, is that it was too casual at this point.
Yeah.
At this point, she is, whatever you think about her, she's important. She's a historical figure. So,
absolutely.
So she warrants a level of respect, creatively, artistically, too. And I'm sort of surprised that a young black male photographer would.
I mean, it's just everything about, but if you listen, I think you and I have had this discussion. I think his work is fine. You know what? I support everybody. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I don't think he's cooked yet. You know
what I'm saying? It's like, come on. It's like, this isn't like you shooting some music artist where you can do we're going to do this messy look. The curtains weren't even steamed right. This was just amateur hour. I'm sorry. It was amateur hour.
Yeah.
And it looks amateur hour, and it's shameful, and it's dumb. So, now that we've gotten rid of all of that, can we talk about Jasmine Sullivan? And some music?
Oh, all right. Well, she is not shameful.
No,
she is wonderful. Yeah.
Can I just tell you how happy it makes me that, one, she's getting, so much attention and acclaim right now, and people are really loving the record. And, a real R&B voice, and I'm happy to find these girls in this industry to still have distinct vocals, don't sound like everybody else. Nobody else sounds like her, and she's just amazing, and I love this album. I do. This album knocked me over the head. I like a concept album. I like the way she sounds on the album, and it just started making me yearn for real vocals again, you know, because I feel like we've been settling for a lot of whisper singing and nobody really saying anything, and the good old R&B kids come with stories, and I love that, and I miss that.
I hate the idea that it's a concept record, but I don't like concept records. But that said, I have been a Jasmine Sullivan fan from the very first album. Let me tell you a really funny story. I remember when her first album came out, and she is somebody who has always been, when you get music critics together and when you get real music fans together, she's always the one where they go, Jasmine Sullivan. Like, why isn't Jasmine? It's like Anthony Hamilton. Why isn't he bigger? Why isn't he bigger? Because she, on paper, she had everything.
Everything, yeah.
She had a major label, the whole nine. And I've loved her since Bust Out the Windows in Your Car. I love that. I love 10 Seconds. So I've always really liked her. And Reality Show made a lot of top 10 lists when it came out. But when that first album came out, I swear to God, so I got the advance. And, they had a one sheet with it, and it said, Jasmine Sullivan, who will remind you of Amy Winehouse. And I love Amy Winehouse. You know that. I mean, it was just so funny.
I've been listening to a lot of her recently. It's funny you say that.
But it was just funny to me that the record company was comparing a young black artist to a young white artist who was often compared to young black artists.
Right.
I was like, okay, this has gone full circle.
Right.
No, I think Jasmine, I watched her Tiny Desk concert, and which is also a thumbs up from quote unquote mainstream, which you can read as white as very well. Also her review in the New York Times, which was over the top supportive. The thing about her is that not only can she sing, but I can't listen to her and say, oh, she reminds me of.
Right.
You know the influences. I mean, everybody has the same influences, but she's
her own singer.
She's her own singer.
Absolutely.
And that's nice. That's nice. Yeah. And she
it's refreshing, actually.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, it's not that there aren't great singers out there. There are great singers, but in pop, very much the style is that kind of mumbly, whispery kind of stuff. It's music.
U.S. pop, because the European girls and boys have been coming with bops and beats and feel good. The U.S. kids have been in their feelings for the last 5 years.
No, I'm not talking about being in your feelings. I'm talking about a style of singing, because the production is more important in some ways.
Yes, but as you notice, and all of the songs have not been up. It's all been them in their feelings. So it's been that whole sort of rise of "Girl, I Love You." Nobody's actually really singing.
I mean, I don't know. We disagree on that, because I don't know.
I just know I'm on 15 different promo lists. I listen to everything. I get so much shit on a daily basis, and it all sounds like the same. And with the R&B kids, it all is the same, and it all is very feeling-y. But when she sings, artists like her, I feel something different in my soul. It's not that sing-songy. And now they're all doing like 90s throwback. I don't know if you've noticed that. There's a lot of influence from basically when you were writing all of that shit. Now it's kind of come full circle.
Yeah, well, that's the nature, right? Because you have one generation discovering their mother's clothes, going, the kids go in their mom's closet and pull out the clothes. But yeah, I mean, there is room, obviously, in the pop world, for a Selena Gomez, who is not a great singer but is an interesting singer, for a Dua Lipa, who is a good singer but not what I would consider a strong singer, but she is good. And I would equate Jasmine more, not musically, production-wise, but more like we're saying, like a Jessie Ware. It's mature, it's full-throated, it's emotional. It's very emotional. And, yeah, it's a really good record, and like I said, I'm very happy for her. We don't know, I think she's always been, as we discussed, one of those, like, not underground, because she's not underground, but one of those people who quietly, without a lot of attention, without a lot of hoo-ha, sells records and has a fan base, you know?
To me, I equate her, when I think about her, to me, she is, I put her like Layla Hathaway with more mainstream success.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of a vocalist, you know what I mean? And, and you're right, you know, pop voices, listen, you and I both have a pop sensibility. We have people who have perfect pop voices. Dua Lipa has a great pop voice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you have to be able to carry the tunes, but she's not going to belt and scream and give you all of that.
No, she can't. That's not her lane.
Rihanna has a great pop voice, right? Rihanna's not going to belt and scream, but she's going to give you moments because it's a pop voice. And we love those voices for that. But we look at the girls like the Jasmines because, all right, we know you've got the goods, so we kind of want the goods. It's like the weird thing with the Jennifer Hudsons of the world. Like, you have that kind of a big voice, and people tend to not know how to write songs for that voice. They want every voice to be big and screamy, which is kind of why I don't think any of her solo work has worked, and they've tried different things, but it's like, that voice is great in Broadway, and it's great. But it just doesn't really work for pop, and people don't really always get it right for R&B. It's like the curse of the Jennifers. It was the same thing that happened with Jennifer Holliday. And I'm telling you, that big voice, so every song they tried to have screamy, and it just didn't work for pop, or even like she had some minor R&B hits. But then you have someone like Jasmine, who reminds me like of a Whitney Houston, who had such a big voice. But Whitney also had such control and command of her voice that she could sing anything, and everything didn't have to be full power. She could sing that pop shit. She could give you gospel. She can go full-on R&B girl. She knew how to control. She could sing it soft. She could sing it hard. And I think Jasmine gives me that kind of, I know my voice. I know how to use my voice. And I know how to give you what I'm supposed to give you and be soft when I'm supposed to be soft, which works, you know, and you're right. She reminds me of Jaheim. You know, you and I talked about that before. Jaheim was on Atlantic. He might even still be on Atlantic for years and years and years. He put out albums. There was no big splash, but quiet as kept, he would always go gold or platinum. He had his fans. He had his shows. They love him. They love his music. They go to his shows. They buy the records, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something to be said for slow and steady wins the race, you know?
Absolutely.
You know,
which is long if you're lucky.
Yeah, not that it isn't great to have, but yeah, so I mean, I'm very happy for Jasmine. I will, and it confirms she has duets with a couple younger singers, Ari Lennox, and it confirms my belief that her is way better suited in partnership with somebody than on her own. You've been saying that from the beginning. I like her. I like her, but I like her better
with someone else.
With someone else. I don't. Yeah. She gets back to that thing, and we talked a little bit about it. I mean, totally different artists, but we talked a little bit about it in the weekend. I don't know who her is. I don't know who she is. She's very talented, but, you know, now she's not wearing the dark sunglasses. So now she's open. It's like I'm unsure, but when I hear her on other people's tracks, I love her.
Yeah.
I don't think she... Yeah, she doesn't have...
But you're right. When you said that to me before, and I had to go back, and I think the favorite songs I like of hers are always her with someone else. Yeah.
And I think a lot of these younger... I mean, I like Ari Lennox, but I think a lot of these singers are... There are very few kind of R&B singers who are coming right out of the gate able to hold their own, totally hold their own. And I think Jasmine, I mean, she's not a kid. I mean, I'm assuming she's in her 30s by now. But Jasmine, had she had more attention and more mainstream black radio type of songs, she could have been Mary in her way. She's just as hip-hop influenced as Mary.
Right.
You know? I've always liked her. I'm really happy for her that she's getting attention. You know, I just applaud her because she's put in the work. This is like her 5th album.
Absolutely. And I love she's still on her major label. They love her. And this album it came out the gate doing well, and it's doing well for her. I love to see the artist who who persevere and work hard, because really it's not about the flash. She's not being shot out of a cannon. There's no gold dust falling down around her. Okay, okay. Can we talk about Chloe and Halle for a minute?
Who? No, I'm seriously, I didn't hear you. I'm not being disrespectful. I didn't hear you.
I said Chloe and Halle for a minute.
Who? Chloe
and Halle.
Who? What? Yeah, talk about them.
I just.
No, that was mean. I didn't mean to be mean. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No. But they're like in that breed of this new. I think they're finally starting to come into some success, and we're seeing them more. But I'm not a prude. But I think I just saw this picture of them recently where I feel like they're trying to change their image, where they both had on these bodysuits, and one had on one that was super French cut. It was like you could almost see her vagina, and the other one you could see her ass, and I was like, I think of you girls as really talented in having this lane. Like, it wasn't always for me. I think I enjoyed some of the songs on this last album more than anything that I've enjoyed from them. But it's like, I hate that thing when I see the young artists who I feel like are starting to break out, and then they kind of take this radical left turn to, I don't know what it is. And that's why
Are they over 18 now?
I think they are now. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. That's what it's about. They're over 18, so now it's time to start getting an older audience, so they have to fucking, they do this to every woman artist, almost every woman artist.
I hate that. I really do hate that.
Well, welcome to the world of being a woman in a sexualized patriarchy. As soon as you get old enough, I mean, they have to always comment about, she's good looking and smart. She's like, I have not paid attention to them enough, but their selling point originally, it's like, why does Miley Cyrus constantly have to remind us that she's not Hannah Montana? You have an amazing voice. Stop it. Stop it.
And you know me, I'm not a prude. I like sexuality. I think there's a way to do it. But I say that in relation to Jasmine, because I see Jasmine, who's never going that route. She's very, very talented. And this is no judgment, people. It's not a judgment. But I just find it really interesting when I've heard a long time from people talking about how, young girls are sexualized very early, young people are sexualized very early. And I don't know, there was something about when I looked at that picture and I thought about them and how talented they are. And even if you're not into their music, they're really, really talented. And I feel like this is a moment where they're coming into their own, like, for their music now, really more so than before. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's an interesting step. Why are we here?
Well, I mean, number one, in their defense, if they are probably, I'm assuming if they're 18, they're having sex. Number two, it's always like, this is my way I want to express myself, which is fine. But the reason perhaps a Jasmine Sullivan wasn't sexualized like that was because she was not a size 2. And that's the world we live in. And then when you have someone like Lizzo, who is not a size 2, wearing the same outfit, she gets never-ending shit about it, So, I mean, women can't win.
I hate that. You know what I hate that they do to Lizzo? That they're always like, you're so brave. When she wears something and does something. It's like, she's just like, why is it brave for her to love herself and be herself? Like, it's like this weird, like we expect people, if they are not what we consider for the music industry, the sexy hot girl who's driving around, she's brave to have on a bodysuit. It's like,
I just don't want to see anybody's crotch. End of story. I'm not interested.
I don't want to see, I don't know, I have this weird thing with seeing young women like that, because it feels, when I look at it, I almost feel like a pervert. It's the weird thing that I have with Ariana Grande. I like her voice, but the Lolita thing, for whatever weird reason, makes me uncomfortable, because it feels like
it should make you
uncomfortable. So the Chloe Halle thing, I think they're really talented. But for the first time in a long time, I saw something. A friend of mine sent it to me because she was horrified, and I'm usually saying to her, "Stop being Dorothy. Everything, this is not terrible." But for some reason, that made me uncomfortable. I was like, this feels like it, because it didn't feel like sexy for women. You know how women put on shit, and a lot of times y'all do shit just for other girls. Like men, we don't care. We like tits and ass. That's, men or whatever. But when I saw that, it looked like it was for men and not for women. And that's the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a conversation that, we could, it's so deep and so, but women are taught, we are taught, whether overtly or covertly, that we are to do things for the male gaze and for male approval.
Right.
And that we are trained to that, whether overtly or covertly, we are trained that we're supposed to get approval. Okay?
Right.
So, I am not saying that Chloe and Halle, I haven't seen the picture or any, I would assume, I'm assuming they're big enough in their career that they can decide what they want to wear. Obviously, Miley Cyrus, nobody tells her what to do, but I've just always found it really upsetting, and I always have, when women are trying to express that they're free and that they are strong and free, they wear less and less clothes are being worn. Like, right. Why is that? Like, Dua Lipa for me has always been very intelligent and very, she's sexy, she's a beautiful girl, but there's a smartness and a knowingness to her. So why is it when she's in a video with Miley, suddenly they're both like, faux lesbian and being all like, why does that make you more mature and interesting? It's right. To me, it's so played out. I'm not saying you have to wear dress like a Hasidim, but it's just so played out because right. That's not signaling anything to women. That's women. That's liberation and feminism for men. Right. I don't know any woman who's going to look at that and go, wow, they are so liberated. That's girls gone wild bullshit, which is like.
I wanted to ask you that because, and I didn't even mean to bring that up. And this is not an attack on those young ladies. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want. You can wear whatever you want. I'm down for wearing whatever you want. But I wanted to know from a woman's perspective, when you guys see that, do you think, wow, that's sexy? You know what I mean? Is that how you see it?
It's not sexy if you're moving that fast. If you're constantly jerking and your tongue is out and you're thrusting your crotch, there is nothing particularly sexy about that. I mean, there are things that are, to get back to Dua Lipa, the New Rules video, there's a sexiness to that. I mean, to me, there's nothing and I don't mean to harp on her because I do think she's talented. I do not find Miley Cyrus to be sexy in the least because she's working too fucking hard,
She's so desperate. Like, what the fuck?
Whereas Debbie Harry was very sexy.
Right.
Because you didn't see the wheels churning all the time. Mary J. Blige to me has always been sexy,
Right.
Because she's not working. And again, I like Miley Cyrus. I'm not trying to condemn her, but it's just like it's like the R&B singer who's constantly humping the stage. What is remotely sexy about you humping a stage? You look crazy. You look crazy doing that, I don't find that to be particularly, but you're also talking to a woman who's has always been, you're so smart. And that's been the end of it. You're so funny. You're so funny. You're so smart.
And I want to talk to more women about this subject because I really am wondering, as we move forward and some of the stuff that we see and that, do you guys find it sexy? Because I do think sometimes women dress for other women. Like men, we don't notice half the shit that women do half the time. I think a lot of the time it's other women will be like, oh, your shoes, they see that more than men. We'll be like, oh, you look pretty. But women will notice every other thing. So I always wonder sometimes, when an artist, none of the artists that I work with, I have to say ever suddenly was like, all right, now I'm naked. It just didn't happen. I didn't have any of those girls that were ever, literally, in my whole career that suddenly flipped it and were like, I'm naked. I think people kind of just grew up and, and naturally evolved into stuff.
I mean, in terms of women dressing, I don't know. I mean, I will say that not 100% because I have dated guys who have a creativity about them and stuff, but women are more detail oriented. We look at detail. Men just see, oh, you're wearing a pink shirt or it's tight, it's tight on you. You know. I used to have, this boyfriend. Everything was like, well, your tits look really good in that. I'm like, really?
That's what we see. I'll tell you, that's what you'll be like, bitch. I spent 8 hours getting ready. It'll be like your tits.
Your tits look really good in that. It's like, okay, great, but how about the rest of the outfit? How about everything else? So yeah, I mean, women are much more, nuanced, and we look at sort of guys that just sort of like, oh, I need meat. I mean, I'm not an expert, obviously, on men, obviously, but it's just a different way of seeing things. Not all men, obviously, and not all women, but I think that. Again, it just gets down to the way that women are conditioned. We are conditioned. It's the fact that we talk about what fucking Kamala Harris is wearing, or the fact that Jill Biden, it's like, she's so attractive. So fucking what?
Right.
Even if who cares? She's an accomplished woman.
The fact that she's going to still teach as First Lady.
Yes, I love it.
I know. I'm sure teachers around the country must be like, oh my God, we have somebody who really understands what this is.
Well, also, she's going to be the only First Lady who has a job, an actual job. I mean, it goes in reverse though too. I mean, my issues with Melania Trump are not that she dresses like Stalinist Barbie or that she uses softcore porn. That is the least of my problems with Melania fucking Trump,
That part,
that she got her husband on her knees. I mean, better to fuck your way to the top than to the middle. I mean,
listen.
But that is not, when people talk about, she looks like a porn star, it'll be so good to have, I don't care. That's, the fact that she's a racist birther piece of shit is her problem. I don't care what it looks like. You know what I mean? So, though I will be very happy
that hates Christmas.
Right, that hates Christmas. I will be very happy not to see a smoky eye for the next 4 years. That smoky eye got a little much. I was like, honey. Or as your people would say, hunty.
Hunty, listen.
Can we mention something real fast, and then we'll talk about what we're listening to? We just want to give a huge shout out to our wonderful friend Beverly Smith,
who I just got off the phone with right before this call, congratulating her on her new book, Bevelations, Stories from a Mother, Auntie, Bestie. Pick it up everywhere. It's available now. Audio. You get the audio book. She's the one reading it, so you will hear it in her voice. It's amazing.
She's the best. Yeah. She's now that's a sexy broad. Okay? That is a sexy motherfucker, that girl.
And it's a story about resilience, and I think for anybody, men, women, everything on the spectrum, baby, it's all welcome. Resilience is something we all need, and it's a really inspiring story of resilience, and I think
she's a lovely girl. She's a lovely woman. She really is. All right, what are you listening to? Because you're in the Wayback Machine again.
I'm in the Wayback Machine again. Well, the sad, me not liking much of the new stuff that's been coming out, I've been digging in the dollar bins at my local record store. Shop local, support all your local shops, people. We need stuff to stay open. New York, everywhere. I'm sure y'all are going through it. Shop local. Keep your little local places in business. So I've been playing. I just found Minnie Riperton's Perfect Angel on vinyl, and Larry.
I'm amazed you didn't own that record before.
Well, I have it digitally and on CD, and not on vinyl. And remember, I had a fire years ago. I lost a lot of shit, so it's been a rebuild of everything.
Oh, okay.
Only one crate of records survived. I had to rebuild from one crate.
You and Q-Tip.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember when that happened? That was crazy. He lost like a gazillion records.
I know.
But, it's been making me dig in and, think about future topics for the show. Because, guys, we're a music show. The last year, man, kicked our ass. And we kind of had to talk about all of the shit that was going on. So much crazy stuff was going on. But it just made me think about stuff that you were saying. We wanted to do shows on producers and just, you know, I started digging into like Lena Lovitch catalog.
Did I ever tell you I saw her once?
And I've never seen her. See, I was a big Nina Hagen fan. I wasn't a Lena fan.
I didn't see her perform. I saw her.
Saw her on the street?
No, at the Mud Club. She was like sitting there, and she looked like Lena Lovitch.
Like,
I mean, it was
she had like the whole thing on her head,
yeah,
and like
the whole thing. It was like 1981, maybe, and I was at the Mud Club, and no, she was full out. That is not a look. That is not a costume. She dresses like that, and I was like, ooh, 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 ooh.
That's my shit. So yeah, you know, I've just been digging into a lot of old stuff. It's been inspiring. Millie Jackson. I found this Millie Jackson, Isaac Hayes record that they made together.
Millie Jackson.
Like,
you know, have you ever heard her daughter? Her daughter's like a really in-demand backup singer. She did a lot of stuff. Yeah. You know, I saw Millie Jackson. This is so crazy. And then I'm sorry. I saw Millie Jackson. BAM used to rent out their halls, and Millie Jackson performed. And I was about 7 months pregnant. I was visibly pregnant, and I came in a little late to the show. And I was standing at the back because I was afraid to walk down the aisle and sit in my seat because I thought she's going to call me out. Because I was like the only white person there, and I said she's going to yell, "Yo, why's that fat bitch walking down?" And I was terrified, so I just stayed in the back.
That's
pregnant.
Hilarious.
I was afraid of Millie Jackson.
You were
really
afraid.
I was. I seriously was afraid she was going to like.
I've never heard anybody be like, well, let me tell you the story. I was afraid of Millie Jackson.
I was. I had a perfectly good seat. I had a great seat. My friend had given me a ticket, but I was like, not crazy late, but I was like a few minutes late. And and for not for nothing, for an R&B show, if you're late, then you're, you know, if you're worried about being late. And I was pregnant, and I thought she's going to call me out and make fun of me, so I just stayed in the back.
First of all, can we give you props for being like, I went to see Millie Jackson I've never seen Millie Jackson live. I feel like Millie Jackson is one of those artists that are fucking amazing, and I think she's one of those artists that kind of. The knowledge about her, even though she's still alive, died with a generation. Like, my mother's generation was the one who listened to her records. I don't feel like my generation did, and none of these younger generations, they don't talk about her. There's so many people that I feel like no one that were great and had control of their careers, made a lot of records, and no one talks about. And the fact that you've seen her, you get props and points for that.
Thank you very much. Well, you know, I am, as Elliot Wilson said, a quality white, as you know. I am a quality white. I do enjoy some Millie Jackson.
How many listeners tell you that you're a quality
white? Yeah. He used to say that me and Amy Morris were quality whites.
That's hilarious.
That was yeah. Sorry, it's true, and I consider that to be a badge and honor. I am not white. I am a quality white.
You are a quality white.
I am the other white meat.
That's hilarious.
It's okay. I worked hard for it. You know. What else you listen to? And then I'll talk about a little bit what I'm listening to, which is not as much.
Old shit, man. I've been digging through. It's been Fiona. I've gotten back into Fiona Apple's first album.
Oh yeah.
A lot of Laura Nyro. I've been
Nero.
I've been to a lot of Laura Nyro moments, man. I don't know what.
She's a quality white. She's a quality white.
From the Bronx.
From the Bronx. Nice Italian girl from the Bronx who wrote one of the best songwriters ever, and then her cover version, the people who covered her stuff, and her versions were just as good. Very rare circumstance like that. You know?
Fun Lena Lovitch fact. Did you know that fun Lena Lovitch fact that I forgot to mention? Did you know that she wrote Supernature by Throne Supernature? She wrote that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She did. She wrote that same lady wrote Supernature.
No, she's cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't listen to as much music these days as you do because, I don't know, I've just been like in this weird funk. Not a funk, but just sort of like oblivious. But I have been, well, I've been making playlists for little baby Enzo, which sounds stupid, but whatever. I've just been listening to like Etienne Daho, who I'd mentioned to you before. He's this French kind of lounge singer, but the same song over and over again because I have the attention span of a flea. And then I've been listening to a lot of reggae. I've been kind of, because inspired by Steve McQueen's Lovers Rock, which if you haven't seen it, is maybe one of the best representations of the power of music. It's on Amazon. So I've been listening to like Dr. Alimentato, Best Dressed Chicken in Town, which I always love, Tapazuki, the Congos, and it reminded me, I think I mentioned this once before, I mean, I've always been a reggae fan, but it reminded me of how when I first really got into reggae, all this stuff was coming up at the same time as punk, and there was a real kind of convergence. So I've just been listening, I don't know, I've just been, and I really am kind of loving this single by the Bleachers, which is basically, I don't know why they call it a band, it's just Jack Antonoff. I mean, there's never, it's like Maroon 5. It's like, really? There are other people in this group? Like, where are they?
Wait a minute. A very major somebody else. I had no idea that
PJ the black guy. Yeah, the black guy.
I had no idea. I knew who PJ Morton was. I didn't know PJ Morton was in Maroon 5.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm sure he doesn't know either when he looked at his watch there. But I've been really kind of loving this single that the Bleachers have out, Chinatown. But the reason I love it is because, okay, if you're from New Jersey and you're a musician and you get Bruce Springsteen to sing on your record and be in your video, that's like the promised land.
Right.
Like, you could die and go to Jersey heaven.
Right.
So it's just kind of cool.
He's the god, honey.
Yeah, he's Bruce Springsteen. So anyway, so I just sort of like that single and listening to Jasmine, you know, really kind of giving it my full attention. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, just watching, of course, shit tons of TV because why not?
Right.
And that's pretty much it. Do you have any parting words, my friend? Anything, knowledge to drop for the kids?
Yes. Near, far, wherever you are, just believe that the heart does go on.
Oh my God! Oh, and next show that we do, I will be able to, I'm getting the vaccine next week.
She's getting the shot. Give my daughter the shot. Give my daughter the shot.
I'm having a microchip implanted into my body so that George Soros and the lizard people can follow me around.
Y'all, she got on that shit because everybody else was in there like, I got an appointment for April. She was like, I'm going
I was on that. I was on that like they were dropping the new Jordans. I was on that shit. I was up all night. I had my browser open and I was like, click. No, so if the next show, if I have 3 heads and an arm coming out of my neck, we'll know why.
Mm-hmm. And if not,
I'm very excited.
And remember, follow us on Facebook at ImmaLetYouFinish. Remember to follow us on Instagram at ImmaLetYouFinish NY, Twitter, Finish Imma. Follow Listening Party at Listening Party Podcast. I don't know why that is the one that tongue ties me every time.
It's a lot of words.
A lot of words. Listening Party Podcast on Instagram.
It's a lot of words. No, Courtney, it's okay. It's a lot of words. And they're words, you don't usually say the word listening and party together. It's a lot of words. It's okay. Oh, you know what else I was going to say?
What?
Guess what? The next time we meet, we'll have a new president.
Oh, my gosh. We will have a new president. And nobody's thinking like, oh, wow, the world's suddenly going to be better. But it's going to be a little bit better. It's going to be a little bit better. Because
it'll be a little bit better.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit better.
I'll take it that way. All right. We're going to see each other later on today. We're having a Zoom chat so we can see how well we're aging.
Okay, honey, I've already given myself a facial and a haircut. And I gave myself a pedicure acting like, well, what if I fell and my foot ran up in the air and they saw my foot? So, you know, listen.
Just wear clean underwear. That's all you have to worry about.
Already done. I've already showered and I've already put on an outfit. I'm sitting here uncomfortable in clothes in the house.
You're fancy. You're putting on clean underwear? Fancy.
Everything. I know. I did laundry. I put them on. It smelled like Tide Fresh.
Oh, look at you. I might brush my hair.
All right, kids.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Guys.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.